The batsman mistimes and lobs the ball straight to the fielder at deep mid-wicket. Your fielder goes overconfident because the ball would never clear the boundary. And even if he misfields, the opposition lose by 1 run. So he lazily stretches his arms, miscalculates the trajectory, the ball hits his palm, bounces off and goes over the rope for a 6. Okay. What do you do? Would you sit in the corner and cry? Because I did.
Hello and welcome back to the Cricket News podcast. Me and James are still in South Africa. I don't know how many more podcasts we'll have whilst we're in South Africa, but there we go. And today we are bringing you an episode where we're talking again about India's continued dominance in world cricket and also the England versus South Africa 2020 match, which kicked off their 3-game series, which should be awesome. Lots of IPL stars are going to be playing in that one. And should we start off with the West Indies-India game?
Absolutely.
That's probably a good place to start. And it was a rain-affected match, which is never ideal because we don't get to see the full 50-50. However, they did manage to see a result, which is awesome. And India's top 3 batsmen in Shikhar Dhawan, Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer continue to impress.
I was very happy to see Shubman Gill in the runs. It was actually across 3 of the white ball games that we saw yesterday, or probably 2 days ago by the time this video is released, or 3 days ago because Benji's editing it. But yeah, it was good to see all the young players, like some young players that have shown potential, actually come to the fore and do really well. So Shubman Gill, 98 off 98, that is brilliant. Not out as well. That's very important. It was also cool to see Finn Allen when they were playing Scotland, I think it was. He got a century off like 52 balls, I think. And then who else did well? Tristan Stubbs, yeah, with the quickest fire 70 going, really. It was amazing. So obviously we'll come on to the England game later. But yeah, like it was brilliant to see some young players do really well. And Shubman Gill, what a player. It's so good to see somebody of his calibre and someone from Punjab as well to do well again. And Shikhar Dhawan as captain, he just looks good. He gives me good vibes. And I love that for India. And then Shreyas Iyer, just class again. What do you think of the bowling bench?
From what I can see, poor. There wasn't really much wicket taking going on there. I think Akil Hussain was probably the pick of the bowlers from the West Indies point of view, with going at the most economy and actually getting the wicket of Shreyas Iyer, who looked like he was quite in. It's interesting to see there are some names that are missing off that team sheet though, like there's no Odean Smith. And you'd have thought him going for, such a paycheck in the IPL, he'd actually get a bit of a gig in the ODI series, but he isn't there. And also I thought there was no Alzari Joseph, which was seemed a bit suspicious because I thought that he's, I know he primarily does red ball these days, but I still rate him as a white ball bowler, especially in one day. So it's interesting to see the team that Nick Purran's picked. I mean, on the India side, like, again, it was a bit of a Yuvendra Chahal show, wasn't it? I think he's rapidly showing that he's one of the best, if not the best, current spinner in the world in the white ball format. I think he just was able to masterfully deceive some of the West Indies batters. And yeah, took 4 wickets. I mean, he did wrap up the tail a little bit, but, that's the kind of the role of that leg spinner. And West Indies are a dangerous unit that can bat pretty much all the way down. They can all play that West Indian type of play where they just try to hit every ball for 6, don't they? So yeah, it was good to see. I thought Sanju Samson kept quite well. He didn't really bat for that long, but I think his keeping was okay as well. So it's just good as well that they've got sort of a reserve there when Rishabh Pant's not playing.
Or KL Rahul as well. But I guess Rishabh Pant normally takes the gloves. But I think you raised an interesting point about the West Indies, because they, for a long time, they've struggled to get a full strength squad out. Like if you think about some of their stars in Kyron Pollard, Wayne Bravo, Chris Gill, they've not actually played much. Sunderland Ryan even. They've not even, and Andre Russell. There's so many names who just haven't played much cricket for West Indies. And you look at that West Indies squad, they've still got some very good players like Nick Poor, like Shai Hope, like Jason Holder, but they are missing those key players who are stars really, and they're being replaced by players who aren't bad. They've impressed in the West Indies domestic team, but they're not consistent performers for the international team. And that is a bit of a worry for them. So when you look at Carl Mayers getting out first ball by Siraj, and then Shamar Brooks getting out to Mohammad Siraj, it's not surprising, because Siraj is a highly skilled, top quality international bowler, a world-class bowler, bowling against someone who's not that consistent. So yeah, it's not that surprising that India have managed to stifle these West Indian batsmen.
We're also seeing, you're right, in West Indies not being the actual cream of the crop. And it leads us quite nicely into a comment that we had pretty much straight after this happened from KB Trinidad and Tobago Limited.
Nice.
And
great name.
So he said, and it was quite obviously he was feeling it. He said he's ashamed to be a West Indian at the moment, which we've all felt that. That's a very visceral cricket feeling as a fan.
As an England fan specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And he was saying that he's not sure like how some players are getting into the side and why they're not playing their best side. He was interested to know what our best West Indian 11 was. But to be honest, I think we'll probably all agree with what his proposed one was.
Okay.
So I'll read it out for you now. So it was King and Mayers opening, Nicky P at 3, Hetmeyer at 4, Rovman Powell at 5, Jason Holder at 6, Fabian Allen at 7, Romario Shepherd at 8, Kemo Paul at 9, Obed McCoy at 10, and Alzari Joseph at 11, which they are like the most exciting and the kind of the cream of West Indian white ball cricket at the moment. And then a lot of them aren't playing, which is a big shame.
He's also missed out Andre Russell and Sunil Narayan, who are top quality players. Like if you add a Sunil Narayan to that team, that's in 2020 matches, that's 4 overs of 6 runs and over maximum, taking 1 or 2 wickets.
Yeah, but haven't they retired from international cricket a long time ago?
Well,
like both.
It's because they're not getting paid enough. That's the thing. If they're not around to play for West Indies because they're playing in these leagues around the world and getting paid lots of money, then they're obviously going to retire from West Indies cricket, because then they're not going to fall out with the board, etc., etc. There's a lot of politics involved, which we won't get into. We'll leave the comments below to get into that. But should we move on to England, South Africa?
Mm-hmm.
Played a game yesterday. England scored a massive score, really, 234 for 6. It's their second highest ever score in 2020 cricket. But they were playing on a postage stamp of a ground at Bristol, which I think the longest boundary was like 72 metres and the shortest boundary was 56 metres. So absolutely tiny. And we saw Moeen Ali play a wonderful innings. He likes playing at Bristol. I think he scored a 50 the last time he played at Bristol for England. And this time he scored 52 off 18. Man of the match, very much deserved. And England were very lucky because South Africa couldn't field, which meant that Johnny Bairstow, who got 90 off 53, continuing his great form, should have been out in the 30s, really. Benj, were you impressed by England's innings?
I mean, for me, the highlight was once again, well, it was Moeen Ali for me. Like it was a record-breaking innings that Moeen had. 52 off 18. I think it was England's fastest ever 50 in T20. So some really great striking from him, and it could have actually been on a ball sooner had it not been from a decent spot of bowling. I think for me the highlight again is, and for me the worry is Liam Livingston, where we're seeing this as a bit of a theme when he's trying to go and just gets himself out. Granted, the game situation when Livingston came in, it made sense for him to try and just go for it because it was in the last over. But like in the same breath, like he's just not. He's known for being that player that can just come out and swing and be impactful from ball one. And yeah, he managed to get a 4 and then a few dot balls in that last over. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like that's the worry for me at the minute is Livingston and him being able to, you know, come out and play that destructive innings because I've not seen him do it yet for England. As you say, Zach, Johnny Bairstow again played a fantastic innings too. But yeah, it was a bit streaky and he could have got out. I think actually David Milan looked really good at that number 3 slot. He's one of those hot and cold players, isn't he? Where he's either really on it or really not on it. And it was, yeah, today it was just yesterday, sorry, it was just a on it day. I mean, what do you guys think about Josh Butler's 22 runs off 7 deliveries?
I'd say that's a classic Butler innings. That's fine because if everybody else can kind of pick up the slack, he's not wasting balls there, is he?
No.
He's utilised 7 deliveries to the full. And that's how modern T20 is played. If a bad innings is 22 off 7, then you're going to be looking pretty good. And it kind of, it then gives other players, if they're not feeling that great, it takes the pressure off them and hopefully it gives them a chance to hit into form. Because obviously Jason Roy was looking awful, but he kind of had the opportunity to kind of hit himself into form because Butler did so well. Unfortunately, he didn't. And that was a shame. But, you know, who knows? There's a game going on right now because they're playing back-to-back games. Obscene, you know, scheduling thing. But it maybe is a chance for Roy to do a bit better this time.
Yeah. But it's hard for Jason Roy because he's opening the batting against Kagisa Rabada and Lungi Ngidi, who are 2 world-class 2020 bowlers. And Kagisa Rabada, he's one of those bowlers. There's only a few in world cricket who are able to just bowl, maybe Josh Hazlewood and Pat Cummins as well, who can just hit the right line and length. And he was just consistently bowling a length at Jason Roy, getting the ball to come into him, and Jason Roy just didn't know really what to do with it. And it's hard for him to get into form against someone who's that good. And when you look at Lungi Ngidi getting 5 for 39, Kagisa Rabada 0 for 30, and Maharaj getting 0 for 31, you might think, oh, it's a decent bowling track. But then Pep Laquire 1 for 63, Tabraiz Shamsi 0 for 49 off 3 overs, and then Tristan Stubbs bowled an unfortunate over 1 for 20. So, yeah, the rest of them got absolutely pummeled. And 234, if South Africa were to get that, it would have been awesome. And they gave it a go. England got regular wickets. They fielded a lot better than South Africa did. Well, Gleeson is fast, very fast.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
His first ball, Butler dropped, didn't he? Because he wasn't expecting that pace.
Yeah.
It's something actually I want to pick up on was that England bowling, because we saw in the T20 World Cup, it was an area that let England down quite a lot. And I want to specifically highlight the 18th and 20th overs bowled by Chris Jordan, especially the 18th over. And I think we've given him a lot of stick over the years, Chris Jordan, but I think that 18th over sealed the game for England. The fact it only went for 3 runs and he was able to nail that Yorker time and time and time again. It went for 3 runs and left South Africa with a mammoth total from 12 balls. I think it was like 50. It was 54 off 18, which, you know, with batters there to go with, you know, David Miller. Actually, I don't know if David Miller was out by that point or not.
Tristan guy was smacking it around.
Yeah, Tristan Stubbs. Yeah, so Tristan Stubbs was in. Phil Laquire was there as well. So with someone like Tristan Stubbs there, anything can happen. And him being able to, you know, hit that Yorker time and time again and only go for 3 runs in that 18th over was really important. And then it allowed Richard Gleeson to come in and take those 3 wickets to sort of ensure the victory, because at that point, South Africa had to just swing. So it was easy for Gleeson to come and take those wickets.
Overall, it was pretty good to be an England fan that day.
Yeah.
Lots of runs, which is what you like to see. It was very England T20.
Yeah.
And hopefully today's game will be exactly the same kind of story. As of recording, South Africa, after 5 overs, are 45 for 1. So,
Josh Buttler won his first toss in 9 matches, I think, which is good going.
That means that we're on an upward curve.
Exactly.
Okay? The only way is up here for Buttler and his captaincy. So, things are getting exciting.
Yeah.
Is there anything interesting or anything else that we need to cover? Oh, we probably need to do some cricket notes questions.
First one, James. Who's it from?
Shailjan Anjar. And it is, what do we think of IPL teams, that is, or franchises, buying the South African T20 franchises, boys? Them pulling out of the Australian series and Stokes' retirement. Oh, it's a lot. Don't you think all these things are related? The writing seems to be on the wall for anyone with eyes to see. I actually think ODI cricket, maybe also bilateral white ball stuff apart from T20 World Cups, being completely done away with, will be good for the Test and T20 formats and also players' longevity in the long term. The changing landscape of cricket warrants a special dedicated episode, methinks. Anyway, keep up the good work. That's an excellent question from Shailjan Anjar.
I do think we need to do a separate video on this because India have already had this massive bid won to make the IPL window longer.
Yeah.
And then that, on top of the fact that the franchises, 6 of the franchises have bought South African teams, means you're going to have the South African 2020 tournament taking place. As soon as that's finished, with all these Indian franchises that we know of, I'm waiting to see what the Mumbai Indians are going to call the Cape Town team.
Cape Town Indians, it's got to be.
Well, maybe. But then, as soon as that's finished, the IPL is going to happen. And that's got an extended window. So we're essentially going to have 5-6 months of the year where we're seeing these franchises in action, which gives you the rest of the year for all the other stuff going on. And it's just going to be this thing which just broadens and broadens. And players like Ben Stokes, you mentioned in the comment, and other players who are concentrating on trying to play for their country, it's like they've got this massive schedule where they want to play in these leagues. You look at what the IPL has done to players like Ben Stokes, like Josh Buttler, like Jason Roy, like Johnny Bairstow. It's improved them as players, and they want to be part of these leagues, but at the same time, they want to play for the country. And there's almost not enough months in the year for that to happen. And the schedule is ridiculous, and it's all adding up, which is why he's mentioned bilateral series, one-day series. They're going to be reduced in order to fit everything in. So it's a massive issue that's happening in world cricket at the moment.
I'm not convinced that the South African T20 League will have its own ICC slot, though. I think only IPL will have the ICC schedule slot. So I think there'll be other cricket happening before the IPL, because it's only currently the IPL that's got that slot.
Can definitely be a separate video. Moving on to our second and third cricket nurse questions, which are from 12 days ago.
Sorry, PD.
Yeah, sorry, PD. You're a legend and we do love you. These are both from PD. Scenario. All your mates are playing well. They are swinging and spinning their deliveries throughout the track, beating batsmen left and right. But you, on the other hand, Benji, I'm going to pitch this one to you. But you, on the other hand, are leaking runs and improving the batsman's confidence. You also dropped a couple of easy catches, and now you are low in confidence. What do you do, and how do you move on while waiting for the innings to be over? Do you stop bowling for the rest of the innings? If you want to bowl, do you stick to your stock deliveries at good length?
Is PD asking for a friend?
I think PD's had a bad experience. He needs to know how to sort it out. So as the bowlers, I think me and you need to answer this, Benj.
Honestly,
so what's
I wouldn't know. It's never happened. Not to me anyway. No. Generally, if I'm feeling, if I am leaking runs or for example a batsman is going after me, definitely if you're the weak link, get yourself taken out of the bowling attack. Like if it's just not your day, it's not your day, is it? And like, you know, take a minute, get hid down at fine leg for a bit, recollect your thoughts, and then come back on it and just try and bowl your best ball every delivery. Yeah, when you're under a bit of pressure, going to your stock ball is really, really good, unless it's your stock ball that's been smashed around a bit. In that case, have a chat with the captain and set a plan. Get some protection in place. Do all sorts of... There's so many different things that you can do as a bowler in that situation. I think as well, yeah, that communication with the captain's really important as well, just to be like, look, it isn't right. Something's not coming out correctly. I know that I'm better than this. But then cricket, you know, it's an up and down thing, because then you might just take, you know, that one wicket that fixes your whole spell, and you feel good again. I don't know, James, how would you get through that?
I think I actually wouldn't add anything else. I think you've absolutely nailed it. That's very true. Just have faith in yourself, but also give yourself the time to just recoup. The next one, and PD has said personal question.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually going to let you answer this one. You know you can't do anything about misfields or dropped catches. Say you're in a prestigious or important tournament and your team reaches the final. Last delivery of the match, 6 runs required, last wicket remaining. You bowl an amazing off-cutter. The batsman mistimes and lobs the ball straight to the fielder at deep mid-wicket. Your fielder goes overconfident because the ball would never clear the boundary. And even if he misfields, the opposition lose by 1 run. So he lazily stretches his arms, miscalculates the trajectory, the ball hits his palm, bounces off and goes over the rope for a 6.
Okay.
What do you do? Would you sit in the corner and cry? Because I did.
I would.
That has to be the best. The best. It's not really a question. And I think that's the best cricketer's question that we've ever had. PD, our thoughts and prayers go out to you, pal.
I think if you're ever in a situation where you are in that situation where you're bowling that delivery, or you're not feeling great about your own thoughts, it's kind of combining the answers to questions 2 and 3. But you've almost got to think about what the opposition's doing, what they need to do. If you focus purely on how to maybe get the opposition out or how to stop them from getting a 4, and the whole team, or 6 in this case, and the whole team is on board with that idea of stopping the batsman, then, I don't know, you'd kind of hope that everyone would be sensible about it, and you'd just stick on the boundary and then stop it, or the bowler would bowl an okay delivery, I don't know. But yeah,
that is awful.
It's not a nice situation.
Yeah, but that's cricket. That's the fickle game that we love and hate.
And with that, should we finish there?
We definitely should. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the continued support. Don't forget to subscribe. Keep telling your friends to subscribe. The channel needs to grow, because you know how good this content is. You need to share it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't forget to like. It really helps us out. Also, you can follow our social medias. We are at Cricket Nerds Pod. You can also listen to our podcast on all the best podcasting sites. And other than that, we will see you guys very soon. Goodbye.